This is an Allis Chalmers Model 83 snap coupler plow. I picked this up a little while back because I wanted one of these to go on my 1953 Allis Chalmers WD-45. Now this wouldn't be a factory original plow to that tractor. That would have been a Model 53. This is kind of the last revision of a snap coupler plow. This would have been sold probably in the early to mid 60s, but it's kind of considered to be one of the better or best snap coupler plows. Does a good job. I bought this one because it's got pretty good iron on it. The shins and the mold boards, cover boards are good. Coulters are pretty decent. It does need a set of points. Got those coming, but let's go ahead and get it hooked up and see what we need to do. Open your lift latches. Got it all hooked up. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a try a little bit here in the sand, but this is the shape the points are in. These should be clear out to here. Pretty worn, and these plows don't necessarily like to go in hard ground, so putting new points on it will help that and not make it an embarrassment at a plow day. Even in this sand, it doesn't want to go into the ground, so definitely got to get those points changed out. I'm going to narrow this plow up because it's got 14-inch bottoms on it. So when you buy a plow or size a plow, generally you'll say it's like a 2/14s or a 3/16s. In this case, this plow is going to be set up as a 3/14s, and that means 3 bottoms with a 14-inch width. So from this landslide to this point is 14 inches, 14 inches of cut. So on this plow, it's adjustable from 14 to 16s. All you do is you loosen these bolts here and there, and you'll flip these little tabs and you'll slide them together. And it'll just make a 14-inch. You'll move your line of draft over if you have to, yeah. And there's not much to it. So these tabs have an indent in them, and it keeps it one way or another, just to keep that bolt offset for all the draft you have going on with the plow bottoms. There you are. So now these two beams are 2 inches closer than these two. So go ahead and narrow these two up and it'll be set up for 14-inch cut. What I'm trying to do now is to get this trip to operate, and there's a greaser in there I'd like to lube up. I got the latch up, just trying to get the moldboard to swing. There you go, so that's the bottom trip. So the idea is if you are going along plowing and that plow hits a rock and it's too hard, instead of like breaking a shear pin or something, or breaking an actual part of the plow or the tractor, that bottom will trip and kick back. And to reset it, you would just set the plow back, pick up, go over the rock, set the plow back down, back up, and it'll reset the bottom. It's a little roller up in here and this spring. Pretty simple. Let's see if I can get these greasers to take some grease. I got this grease joint rejuvenation tool. Got some transmission fluid in it. Not sure what's best. I think something light would be ideal. I don't know about this. Yeah. I don't know about that. I don't think I'm a fan. I've usually had luck with just some heat. These are press-in zerks, so you can't really just pull them out. Oh! Well, the zerk came out. Try to kind of auger that out with a drill bit. I don't think the issue's in the zerk. Go ahead and drive that back in. I'm gonna go ahead and just reset this bottom. Maybe work it around a little bit with some oil in there, and I'll just leave that be for now. These really shouldn't be tripping much anyways, so won't worry about it for the time being. Now I'll just do that to the other two. Paint's mostly dry on these wheel weights, so I'm going to go ahead and put them on. Main reason I want these is that with those plows behind it, even with these suitcase weights up front, when you get into heavy ground and the draft control kicks in, the front end of the tractor wants to still pick up a foot or two off the ground in the hard spots. So throw these on there and it'll help. So normally these would mount with a offset square-headed bolt, but those are not available and I didn't have any with the weights. Some people grind carriage bolts down or get square-headed bolts and grind one side down, but I'm going to give these a try. I think they'll work. Looks like the way to do this would be take the wheel off first. I don't really want to do that. Okay, that's on. I'm going to take the wheel off the other side to put that on. That's a real pain. I'm going to go ahead and cut these down a little bit. Those other ones stick out about a ½ inch past the bolt. Make that closer to 2 1/8. That'll work. See if these are loose at all. The top beaming screw is, but not sure how much faith I have in these. Oh, nice. You can't ask for any better than that. I have been soaking these with penetrating oil since I got it, so it's not exactly a miracle. Yeah, wishful thinking. It's not completely seized. This is just transmission fluid and acetone mixed together. Get the old muscle multiplier. I didn't hack up this wrench. This came with a tractor and it just so happens to fit in a toolbox with that end chopped off. Got this loosened up enough we can turn it by hand now, so That should be pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and take these shares off now. Just gonna go ahead and torch the bolts off underneath. So that's what it looks like underneath. You've got 4 bolts. This is wore down. It's kind of getting almost into that bolt hole, so they were past due to change them. There's an old versus new comparison for you. I think this might have been a little different style of point, but you can still see how much it's wore down. This is what really helps pull the plow into the ground, so this being wore off really hurts performance. Got all the shares off. I'll go ahead and take a wire wheel and clean that up, and we'll bolt the new ones on. Alright, we've got this thing fairly precariously up on some blocks. The idea is that's about a 7-inch rise front and left. This is a 14-inch plow, so the general rule of thumb is you plow about half the depth of your width of cut. So we're looking for about a 7-inch depth. So what we're mimicking here is this furrow side wheel down in the furrow, and we're going to set this plow up so it's sitting level with it in the furrow. So what we're looking for is this plow to be sitting flat, and it actually looks pretty good. Want to make sure all of our shares are hitting pretty evenly, so they look like they do. It looks like we could come up just a touch on this side. But our left to right looks pretty good. I went ahead and I greased up the Coulters. I also need to repair a link here. Somebody's got a bolt in here and they tend to shear off. This isn't the best, but I've got a repair link I'll squeeze together and weld. Well, this should be ready to go. should be able to use it, so we'll give it a try here and see if we can get it to pull into the ground now. Well, that's a little better looking than what we started with yesterday. Seems like the new plowshares pull it right in the ground good. Looks like it's set up pretty decent left to right. But there's a plow day coming up this weekend, so we'll take it to that and see how it does.